open it club. Was that bad or good? Oh, it was good.
Not over yet.
I don't open that club.
Now what do you bid?
$2.
Don't you wish you'd opened a diamond, now you could bid 2 clubs?
Oh, so I was wrong.
Well, actually you're trapped is what you are.
Yeah.
That's why you open at a diamond,
Okay.
okay? We'll just beat this to death.
Are you gonna beat that to death?
Yeah.
Okay. We usually lost lessons in California.
Oh, good grief.
2 clubs?
You want you to be there.
Pass? There's your partner's hand. You like what you did?
No.
Well, then don't do it. If you bid 2 clubs, what can your partner do with this hand? Bid 2 diamonds, right? Because 2 clubs shows an unbalanced hand. So what you should have bid is what? 1 no trump. If you rebid 1 no trump, your partner would bid 2 hearts. So even though 1 diamond is the correct opening bid, you don't rebid 2 clubs unless you're forced into it. And what would force you to bid 2 clubs?
Hey,
When the opponent's bid a suit, you can't stop. If you got lucky and you opened a club and they overcall 1 heart and your partner doubled, now you could bid a no trump. Right? But if they bid an overcall a spade, you can't rebid 1 no trump. So you're just in a mess. So even though you open a diamond, you don't rebid 2 clubs unless you have to. Simply for this reason here. And it doesn't have to be exactly like that. What if it's like this? You still belong in 2 hearts, right? But your partner can't bid 2 hearts if you open a diamond and rebid 2 clubs. Because that shows an unbalanced hand And if you have a singleton somewhere, where do you think it is? It's in your suit, isn't it? So that's why you don't rebid two clubs on these hands. When you have a balanced hand, you rebid no trump. Unless they bid a suit you can't stop. Okay?
One diamond.
Right, now you should bid two hearts. Now you should pass. You should pass two diamonds. You only bid over two diamonds when you're on the upper range of this two club bid. And you could have a pretty good hand and only bid two clubs. This was a pretty good hand, wasn't it? That's almost enough to make a jump shift with. So if you bid again, after you get a preference back to two of your first suit, if you bid again, you have a good hand.
What does your partner do?
Well, it depends on what they have. What do they know? What does your partner know when you bid two hearts?
Three hearts.
They know exactly what your shape is. Could you have two spades and three hearts? No. Because if you had that, you would have bid no trump somewhere along the line. If you had the same number of high card points, and that, you would have opened a no trump, right? Right?
Right.
So you can't have that. You have to have an unbalanced hand. And three card support for hearts. So you would have to have a singleton spade. So what your partner knows is your shape is exactly 1, 3, 5, 4. And you have 17 or 18 total points. And they ought to be able to get to the right spot from that, right? They could pass two hearts, they could bid four hearts, they could go back to three diamonds. But no, when you bid two hearts, if your partner's got three diamonds to the jack and 4 hearts to the jack, and an ace of spades or something, they're not going to pass 2 hearts. They should take you back to 3 diamonds. And if they have 8 or 9 points after you do this, 8 or 9 and spades well stopped, they can bid 2 no trump over 2 hearts. But if they know exactly what you have, they ought to be able to get you to the right spot. So once you get a preference, if you bid again, raising hearts, for example, would show 1, 3, 5, 4. What if you were over 2 diamonds? What if you were to bid 2 no trump? Would you be 2-2 in the majors? No, you would open the no trump if you hit that.
Assuming your partner's got the heart stop, right?
Well, they bid hearts.
That's what they assume.
They bid hearts. It would show that type of hand. What if you had that? Over 1 heart, you would have been 2 no trump, right? So if your first rebid is no trump, it shows a balanced hand. If your third bid is no trump, you don't have to have a balanced hand. Is that making sense? Because with this, you wouldn't have been 2 clubs, you would have been 2 no trump over a heart. Right? So if it goes a diamond, a heart, 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, and now you bid 2 no trump, it's going to be like this. So the no trump bid after you get a preference is still more than a minimum hand. It's still a game try, an invitation to game, but it doesn't promise a doubleton heart. It's going to be a singleton, because with no short suits, you would have rebid no trump somewhere along the line. Either opened or rebid no trump. You wouldn't have bid a diamond and then clubs. So if you bid 2 suits and get a preference, then if you bid again, it means you're on about 17 or 18. Okay? And for your partner to bid 2 diamonds over 2 clubs, they don't have to have 3 diamonds. It's the same way. How many hearts does this one have? The most likely number is 2. They could have 3. If they have good spades, they could have 3. But the most likely number of hearts they have is 2. So over 2 hearts, if you were to bid 3 hearts, you're inviting game, but you're doing it knowing that your partner might only have 2 of them. If you were to bid, instead of 3 hearts, if you were to bid 2 spades, what would that be? Diamond, spade, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, now 2 spades.
2 spades and maybe no cards.
3 card space.
And enough to invite game. Because if you have a 14-point hand, you should always pass 2 hearts. You don't bid again with 14. So this is going to be 17 or 18 in support of spades and 3 card support. So if your partner knows you have exactly this shape and you have 17 or 18 total points and they can't get you the right contract, there's no hope. I mean, you can't tell them any more than that, right? That's all you can tell them. And if they can't get you the right spot, there's no hope. Because most of the time, you can't tell them all this stuff. Exactly what your shape is to the card and how many points you have. Okay. What would that be? After your partner bid takes you back to 2 hearts, you bid 2 no trump.
5, 4, 2, 2.
Probably like that. You don't, when your third bid is no trump, you don't promise no singletons. It's only when your rebid is no trump.
Say that again.
It's only when your first rebid is no trump that you promise no singletons.
You can't deal with it,
Yeah.
singletons.
No singletons or voids. If your first rebid is no trump, this isn't your first rebid. That's your third bid. Your rebid was 2 diamonds. So this doesn't promise no singletons. It's the same thing we were doing before. With any minimum hand, you pass 2 hearts when you get a preference. Because this is weak, right? This is a minimum hand. If your partner had more than a minimum, they would not have taken you back to 2 hearts. They would have been something else. depending on who you're playing with, there's a lot of merit in bidding 2 hearts with this hand. If your partner gets all frustrated and uptight when they have to play in a 4-3 fit, don't make them do it. Some people it really bothers, and not only will this hand get messed up, the next 4 or 5 hands will get messed up. So if your partner is one of those people, and there are lots of them, and they're not all beginners, some of them are pretty good players. If they get all uptight when they have to play a 4-3 fit, don't do it. If you're playing with me, you can bid 2 hearts with this hand. If you raise with 3-card support, you should always have a singleton. Always, or void. Really, probably a singleton, because otherwise you're going to have a 6-bagger 5-5. But don't raise Don't raise 1 heart to 2 hearts with that. I don't care what people say, this is not as good as 4 of it. It's just not. And you have very little roughing value. The only roughing value you have is here. And if you have to rough, what are you roughing with? So you rough twice, and now instead of the opponents catching no trump tricks, they catch 2 of them because you had to trump with these big ones. So this is not the type of 4-3 fit you want to play. The type of hand you want to raise on 3, your heart suit looks like this. Or that. With that, you can trump twice and still play the ace, right? So this is the type of trump suit you want if you raise with 3. Not real good hearts. And you should always have a singleton if you're going to raise immediately with 3. And this king, queen, jack of trumps is not as good as 4 small. Because when you start trumping with them, they're gone. Now your opponent that had 4 hearts to the 10 is going to get 10-9 is going to catch 2 heart tricks. Or 3. Anyway, this is the type of hand you can play a 4-3 fit. Okay? If your partner doesn't get all frustrated. If they get all frustrated and blow the next 4 hands, then you can't do that either.
So what do you think of that if you don't want to bid 2 hearts?
Too close.
Too close?
Well, I had something else somewhere.
Yeah. You have little partial?
That one you would have passed with.
You had 2 spades. Or, yeah, 2 spades.
Okay, with this one, if you open a diamond and your partner bids a heart, and your partner doesn't play 4-3 fits, or doesn't want to, bid 2 clubs. If they don't get, the 4-3 fits don't bother them, you can raise 1 heart to 2 hearts. But if you do it on 3, always have a singleton somewhere. Okay? Because 4-3 fits that play well, You have to be able to trump in the 3-card suit, or they're not going to play with it. When you play in a trump suit, you don't want to be trumping in the long hand. You gain tricks by trumping in the short hand. Okay? So if you're going to play 4-3-5, you want the 3-card suit to have singles or something. Yeah, we do. Oh, yeah, we do. Anyway, let's try something else.
Okay, it's almost time. 18.
Okay? You're bidding 2-no trump because you had a little more than a minimum. Not because you don't like diamonds and hearts. Because with this, you should just go back to 2 diamonds. Your hand's not good enough to bid 2-no. Okay?
Thank you, Ron.